is Christopher here. My colleague Maxwell called you earlier on Class FM.
Christopher from Class FM.
Yes, please.
Okay, Christopher.
My colleague called you earlier.
Very well, that's true.
Okay, so you said in some 5-minute time, are we good to go?
Yes, we are.
Okay. So, Alice, from the start of the whole conversation, when Professor Frimpong brought the report about some officials of government perpetrating or being corporate of the entire Galamsey process, therefore making it so difficult to at least hold or champion the fight against illegal mining, it sparked a whole lot of conversations that at least top government officials ought to be investigated. But upon investigations and upon calls by the OSPs, it seems he himself has been apprehended and then charged for some 505 million Ghana cedis for various offences within his interministerial committee, which he chaired. As an activist, your reactions, it seems who watches the water, and he's now being the victim now.
Well, thank you.
Various applause on his works.
Very well. Thank you so much. First and foremost, we need to establish the fact that what has come to bear now, of which we are discussing, is something that took place. Crusaders Against Corruption, we actually preempted it some months back that such a thing is going to happen. And indeed, we should have in mind, especially Professor Frimpong Boateng, that this is just the beginning of many frustrations that has been orchestrated against him. And it has been orchestrated against him because of his inability to keep quiet by deciding to, for lack of better words, exposing this current government when it comes to their attitude towards fighting galamsey and illegality. We have said over the past years that the fight against corruption has been lost under the Akufo-Addo-led government. And it is simply because we live in a dispensation where the president has exhibited clearly that he is rather interested in protecting corrupt practices and corrupt people and victimizing individuals with integrity, other than it being the other way around. That is what the president has communicated to us. And if you look at his actions and inactions, there are so many reasons and so many examples to give. First off is when the president himself deciding to hail the vice president in the just some few days ago address to the press, when the president was talking to the state on the IMF updates and that of the COVID-19, he decided in his concluding remarks to shower praises on the vice president. And this is a vice president who has been indicted or has been alleged to be engaging in an illegality known as galamsey. Professor Frimpong Boateng's report mentioned the vice president as someone who is currently engaging in galamsey activities, and yet the president decided, instead of ensuring that the right thing is done, decided to embrace this person, that is the vice president, and to hail him. Recently, not quite long ago, the president decided to create a platform to award individuals and ended up awarding Ajima Menu, someone who has been established from his own confession that he caused financial loss to the state as a result of or in the disguise of purchasing vaccines to fight COVID in this country. And yet the president decided to award him. And the list goes on and on. The president himself has blatantly engaged in what we call nepotistic government, which is an example of corruption. And so if the president himself believes that corruption is the way for him to go, and has shown to all of us that he will rather embrace and protect corrupt people right from his presidency through to his ministers and other appointees, then it is very clear that if you belong to this country and you decide to expose corruption, then you rather be victimized. It is quite unfortunate that Frimpong Boateng, who decides, and we can describe him in this sense, as a whistleblower who decided to blow the whistle on illegalities and perpetrators of galamsey, the system has decided to rather intimidate him, and the system has decided that it is rather going after him so that it will lose focus of the reports that he has presented. Now, the special prosecutor, coming to the special prosecutor, what he did when he first decided to invite Frimpong Boateng, but ended up arresting him and granting him bail with some sureties, for us, it is an indication that we are really in a dark state now. This is really a state of shame for this country, where anti-corruption institutions like the state Office of the Special Prosecutor, which is supposed to protect whistleblowers, has rather decided to associate with the alleged criminals, the government, to rather put fear in individuals who are exposing corrupt practices. If the special prosecutor means well and wants us to believe that what he's doing is genuine, why hasn't he invited any of the individuals that have been mentioned in Frimpong Boateng's reports, especially the vice president?
That was actually going to be my next question. That as one that seek to at least combat corruption and illegal things. Of course, shouldn't Professor Frimpong Boateng rather be protected? But now that he's rather being the victim, how worrying and disturbing is that?
That is so worrying. But you see, it is not so worrying under this government. And that's why we have indicated. And as far back as early last month, if you look on my Facebook page wall, I gave a warning to Professor Frimpong Boateng that he should be watchful, because I knew from where I sit, I have privileged information, and I knew what was being orchestrated and what was being planned against him. And so I preempted this, and I even gave him a warning through my Facebook wall, which is still there. Anyone who goes to my Facebook wall will see it there. I said to Frimpong Boateng, Professor, to be careful, and that he should be watching his back, because I knew what was coming. And look, this...
on that tangent of, I'm sorry for cutting short,
yes,
but on that tangent of he should be watching his back, I mean, in as much as we humans, we may all not be as white as snow. Don't you also think that there could be some iota of truth in the oppressions of the OSP against he himself, Professor Frimpong Boateng, in as much as we may be seeing him as the angel?
We don't have any problem whatsoever. First off, we should know that the special prosecutor works within the law. And as a mazen of law, justice must not only be done, but it must be seen to be done. In other words, it is not the end result that really matters when it comes to law, but what is so important is the process. And so when you are passing through a process which is crooked, and you give us a good result, the law doesn't recognize that. Yes, Frimpong Boateng is human, and it is possible that the special prosecutor may have some grounding for which he has decided that he's going to investigate him. But the position is that the process in which the special prosecutor is engaging in raises a whole lot of doubt as to how genuine the special prosecutor is. In this case, if indeed the special prosecutor wants us to believe in his process, if he had first invited the vice president and all the others that were mentioned, and in the process decide to also invite Frimpong Boateng, I am sure all of us will be applauding. But clearly speaking, even if Frimpong Boateng has erred in any way, for which the special prosecutor has every right to investigate him, and we will support that, we find it so difficult to understand why the special prosecutor seems not to have that confidence when it comes to allegations against the presidency or individuals who are currently holding positions of power or in power. And there are examples again to give. You remember the special prosecutor some time ago, a few times came to us and said that he is going to arrest certain individuals who have been seen on tape or who have been seen allegedly buying votes when it comes to internal elections of the various political parties. What has happened to that? We are in this country when the NPP, which is the ruling political party, went into their primaries. when it got to their constituency, regional, national elections, particularly constituency and regional elections, it came out clearly through a communique that the sitting vice president was paying for the nomination fees of almost all the aspirants across the country. Isn't that amounting to vote buying? Didn't the special prosecutor see this or hear this? So if the special prosecutor decides to be chosen and picking, how does he expect us to put credibility on what he's doing?
Very well. Then it means that, I mean, from where you sit, there is some level of doubt on the operations of the special prosecutor and even the entire judicial system at large. Does that give some level of confidence within our judicial space? I mean, are we judiciary, I mean, independent enough to at least issue fair judgment on various subject matters?
It is quite unfortunate that I will want to make any comment or the comment I'm about to make on the judiciary, because the judiciary, all of us were expecting that that would be the last resort that all of us will go to. Indeed, the executive, the legislature, you may pardon them because these are politicians who are looking for votes. And so they are not consistent. And when it comes to integrity, you will hardly find any of these people exhibiting any sense of integrity. And so we were all hoping that the judiciary would have been the last resort for all of us. Unfortunately, the judiciary also, when it comes to matters of corruption, the judiciary also seems to be, creating doubts that they are indeed independent. And I'll give you a recent example, which has to do with Domlevo. Look at what happened to Domlevo. How long did it take for the judiciary to come out and tell us that what the president did was unconstitutional? The judiciary, especially the Supreme Court, whose mandate, number one mandate, has to do with the protection of the Constitution, for the past 3 years sat down and saw that the Constitution was being abused by the sitting president and kept quiet till now. What relevance is the judgment that they came out with as far as Domlevo is concerned? Yes, we may not want to bastardize them so much because, as I said, that is supposed to be the last resort. All we can say is that the judiciary, per their action, they are day in, day out letting the average Ghanaian lose confidence and hope in them. And so they should set up, especially when it comes to matters of corruption.
Very well. Emmanuel, thank you so much for your time. I trust tomorrow or even in the afternoon, we may be able to pick up more conversations on this on our 12 live bulletin.
Thank you very much, my brother.
All right, thank you so much.
Okay, bye.